Folks, welcome back. We're here today to look at the Lightning Blackout from Storm. I'm Chase Valenzuela with Balls of Fame Pro Shop here in Springfield, Missouri. We're here at Enterprise Park Lanes today with this brand new ball from Storm. Now, the original Lightning was before my time, so I really didn't have any point of reference for this ball or really any expectations for this ball relative to anything else in the product line. The only thing about this ball I was familiar with prior to this ball review is, of course, the Rex Pearl cover stock. In my opinion, we've gotten a couple different versions of this cover throughout its life. We got a little bit earlier version that creates a little bit more traction on balls like the Infinite Physics and the Night Road, where on balls like the Lightning Blackout here and the Virtual Energy Blackout, it seems that the Rex Pearl cover is a pinch cleaner overall and creates a little bit more length. And while this does feel like the cleaner version of Rex Pearl, it is overall still a fairly strong cover stock with a fair bit of nano in it, and so it does create some traction and want to change direction pretty gradually, which is nice to see out of a Pearl ball. I don't tend to like the really flippy stuff, so this being on the blendier side for a Pearl symmetrical ball does seem like something that's going to be really usable for me. When it comes to the weight block, we've got something on the lower side as far as flare potential, but overall I think the cover is strong enough that it sort of makes up for that as far as where this ball's going to fit. For me, this is kind of a two ball. I wouldn't use this on dead fresh conditions unless there's quite a bit of friction, but I can really see this coming into play behind anything that's solid and a little bit earlier and lower RG. Out of this particular mid RG ball, I do see a good bit of extra length where I can tell the core is sort of floating through it a little more than your average 248 RG type ball, but I don't see it just really snapping or jumping down lane. You can see it's pretty rounded off the end of the pattern. First up for comparison, we have the 900 Global Zen Gold label. For me, this has been that symmetrical Pearl ball that I slot behind those really big early symmetrical balls because it does still have a really big low RG core. It's just quite a bit cleaner cover stock overall. So I get the same shape that I get out of maybe something like the Phase 2 or the Optimum Idol, but I get something that pushes further down the lane and creates a little more length whenever the fronts start to go. Overall, I think the cover stock on the Zen Gold label is a little bit weaker and longer overall, where I think the cover on the Lightning Blackout creates a little more mid-lane traction. That is sort of balanced by the fact that the core in the Gold label is much stronger than the core in the Lightning Blackout. So overall, the hook potential is the same here, but I think the Lightning Blackout will be better on a little more volume, where the Gold label is going to need a little bit more friction than the Blackout does to do the right thing. Seeing these two up against each other, I think I would have enough room in the bag for both of these if I was bowling on a blended house shot like what we have at Enterprise Park. These balls match up really well to the condition at Enterprise, and I think they are different enough shape-wise that I would have room for both. This head-to-head comparison really demonstrates the way that a ball is stronger with the core and cleaner with the cover, or a cover that's a little bit earlier and stronger and a core that's a little bit cleaner and weaker, and it kind of demonstrates the subtle differences that those make, even though the hook potential overall can be similar. Next up, we have something of an honorable mention for the Hustle Rip. I intended for this to be my second comparison ball, but it became quickly apparent that the Hustle Rip is a mile weaker than the Lightning Blackout. The difference in cover stock is stark. So if you're somebody that was a little bit gun shy of the Lightning Blackout because you thought you would get the same performance out of a Hustle, you can see here how much stronger and how much more traction that Rex Pearl cover stock creates on the Lightning Blackout. And hopefully that'll kind of put that to bed for you if that was your hesitation. Next up for comparison, we have the IQ Tour Ruby. And this is the ball that I think is really parallel to the Lightning Blackout across the product line, as far as the spot you would use it in, the general shape that it creates, and overall its total hook potential. Overall, I think the IQ Tour Ruby is a really good piece. It's obviously a little bit less expensive than the Lightning Blackout is. You can't tell by the way my Ruby is going through the pins in this video, but I really haven't matched up to it super well. Sometimes the Ruby can be a little too clean and sharp for what I like to use it as or where I like to slot it in, and so I think the Lightning Blackout will give me a little bit more of a blendy rounded option with a little bit stronger, smoother cover stock that'll let me use this a little more effectively than I have been able to use the Ruby traditionally. If you're someone that didn't match up to the Ruby so well and you still need something in that low differential symmetrical Pearl spot, I think this would be a really good option. Or if you're someone that really loved the Ruby and you need something in that spot to complement it, I think this would be a really good option as well. Get your Lightning Blackout May 17th, and as always, thanks so much for watching and we'll see you next time.